batch ahead of time. It's one of those recipes, kind of like, have you ever made like a really bomb lasagna and then like it's good, but then after a night in the fridge you reheat it and it's like fire, the mozzarella's chewy. I remember there was even a line in The Sopranos about it. I was like, I felt that in my soul, and my waist, and probably my ass. But anyway, Tiaba. So what I wanted to do was, and this is the truth, it's why I called my cookbook Straight Up Tasty, was that I wanted to create big flavors that are easy to create, fun to create, and truthfully, if you see this recipe and you want to add your own twist on it, I'll welcome it. You want to add your own avocado crema, your own twist. If you have Greek heritage, you want to work in a Greek twist, by all means. So this is basically two elements. It's the salsa and it's the shrimp. So these are garlic shrimp with honeydew sriracha salsa. So it requires a little bit of prep in advance. The easiest bit of advanced prep is your garlic oil. You can get, I would say, approximately between 4 and 6 cloves of garlic. Crush them. I remember the late great Anthony Bourdain used to say, I don't know what comes out of a garlic press, but if a damn sure isn't garlic. He used to say, just cut it in half, smash it flat with your knife, run your knife through it, rough chop, throw it in, cover it with olive oil, and let it sit for about a half hour. I sometimes even let it go overnight. Now the cool thing is, infused oils, if you keep them well and store them correctly, they last. Basil oil, red pepper oil, and any dudes who kind of want to show off for your lady, because guys, we got to get in the kitchen, we got to, come on, step it up for the ladies. My mom and my stepmom always used to say, a lady appreciates a man who can cook. Finishing a plate, am I wrong, chef, like a little streak of an oil, like basil oil, it can really, really brighten the dish and it looks gorgeous on the plate. So you can just literally let it sit in a cool, dark place. You can put it in everything from an old, cleaned out, sterilized jar. You can even get those like squeeze bottles, like when you would make those ugly like tie-dye shirts or those weird circular painty things at a carnival, and you can keep them for quite a long time. The other thing is this, and I'm going to make sure the camera can see it right here. So we have some honeydew right here. So this was inspired by a chef at the Jewel Hotel in Dallas. And he would actually make a cheese platter, and he would do it with cantaloupe. And he would put spices in and vacuum seal it, but it looked just like plain old cantaloupe. But it was spicy, and I love that mixture. Excuse me. So, it was so loud, Jesus. Sriracha. It's not just for breakfast anymore. So, it depends on your own level of tolerance for heat and your own love of sriracha. So we can mix it around. Is there a spoon over there, chef? Thank you so much. Just take this little guy right here. So you don't want to crush the honeydew at all. You just want to coat it. The thing is, we really want to infuse that flavor. So what I like to do is do kind of what I guess you might call ghetto cryovac. Now, I would love to take credit for this one, but this one goes to my late great dad. And he used to do this to preserve bagels, because every Jew knows it is a sin to waste a bagel. It is. It's the 11th commandment. It's the 12th. The 11th commandment is thou shalt not pay retail, and the 12th commandment is thou shalt not waste a bagel. By the way, I don't care where you are on the political spectrum, Cynthia Nixon was way the hell off base with that cinnamon raisin lox thing. Can I get an amen with that? Who's going to put herring on a cinnamon roll? My God, that is hallucious. All right. So, I'm going to pour my little honeydew sriracha mixture into a Ziploc baggie. May I? Thank you very much. And this is the fun bit. Close it almost all the way. Take a straw. And the truth of the matter is my pop was right. I love how I fade in and out. It's sort of like I'm sending a message to outer space. E.T. phone home? Alright, so we're going to just make sure we have as tight a seal as possible right up until the straw itself. The trick of this is to get the air out and not drink up a whole bunch of sriracha. It is an art. So, man, Adam Richman sucks. So, we're going to let this go. That's what the graffiti says. So, we're going to let this sit in the fridge. I recommend, usually, they always say raw stuff, obviously on the bottom, you don't want cross-contamination. Just let it sit, not in the coldest part of your fridge, but in the cool part of your fridge overnight. And you'll see the flavors will actually get absorbed, and you'll start seeing the green re-emerge when it's finished. So then we're going to basically make a very simple, basic pico de gallo. Now when I say basic, I don't mean like, oh, basic bitch. Like, I mean like basic, like, oh, take a picture without a Snapchat filter. You're not a cute puppy. So we have chopped tomato, we have jalapeno, cilantro, lime juice, garlic, onion, and it's really the most simple salsa. And again, much like that lasagna left overnight, the longer you let these flavors sit, the more it will actually intensify. The one thing to be wary of, once you add tomatoes, the soggy factor is epic. So make sure you take those seeds out and really just use the flesh of a really, really good tomato. And honestly, all we're going to do right here is take our sriracha laced honeydew. Laced makes it seem poisoned. Let's say infused. It's like my favorite word that chefs use now is deconstructed. It's a deconstructed brownie. Translation, I screwed up my brownie. It's a deconstructed cheesesteak. Is that why there's no cheese, no steak, or a sandwich? Exactly, I deconstructed it. So, again, I want to take care not to really mash any of the vegetables together, because to me, I like the chunkiness of a good salsa. But again, I also had a problem. There was a place that I filmed on Man vs. Food, and it was the first place that, to me, really got it right, in my opinion. It's a place that we filmed their California burrito in San Diego called Lucha Libre Taqueria. You may remember the episode because the training montage required your boy to dress like a luchador, where I felt very compromised and tried very hard to like flex, to eliminate as much man boobage as possible while wearing a wrestling hat. It was not something I learned in yeshiva. It was a very, very difficult skill. So, that said, we have the salsa. Again, once it's combined, you can cover it, let it chill again, or you can serve right away. I tend to want to cover it with saran wrap, throw it back in the fridge for another maybe 10 to maybe tops 30 minutes. We don't want it to get too soggy. You can see how much liquid there is, but the flavors will marry. Anyway, Lucha Libre Taqueria made a peach salsa, and there was a really beautiful synergy, because usually it was like, I don't want mango on my, get out of here, man. I got like pork and I got guac. Why do I want peach? Like, that's like the Cynthia Nixon bagel. But then I was like, aha, there's something about spicy fruit that works for me. So now the shrimp. We have our garlic oil. We have our shrimp on the skewers. Little pro tip, soak your skewers when you're doing your kebabs, soak them in water. I would soak them at least for an hour, because they won't burn that way. Remember, you're still ultimately throwing matchsticks on a fire. So really give them a good coating, and now that olive oil is really going to have that infused flavor. Thank you very much for getting that up, Chef. So we really want the pan screaming hot. Another little pro tip, people, if you're making your eggs in the morning, a lot of people will pour oil in the pan and then turn the heat on. No bueno. Heat the pan dry. When you put the oil in, it should sizzle right away. Great way to test it. Drops of water should kind of skitter across the surface of the pan, kind of like marbles. And you want to hear, hey, you can't pay for them sound effects. All right, so we're going to let them go roughly about 2 to 3 minutes each side. Obviously, you want to get that nice pink color. You could use, show of hands, who's a flour tortilla person? And who's corn tortilla person? Wow, corn represents, like Iowa representing it here. It's funny because I like the flavor of corn, but I like the tear of flour. So this is an each to their own kind of thing. I find this dish works really well with flour because I want the main flavors to be the salsa and the shrimp. So it's super easy. We have some of the skewers already made, but we're going to see we want that char, we want that lovely little pink color to emerge, kind of like with a lobster. And that's all that is. Why lobsters go from that kind of blackish, grayish color to red. It's the chitin in their shells, and that's how it reacts to the heat. So it's the same thing, another sort of crustacean. So we'll let them grill up. Actually, we have chefs that kind of do a plated one for me. And again, one thing that's always kind of fun to do, because you have this amazing garlic oil. I'm going to set this here, chef, if I may. You can even brush the tortilla with a little bit of garlic oil ahead of time. Or you could use a different one. You can make a cilantro oil, chipotle oil. You could use chorizo. You could do whatever you'd like to actually infuse the oil with the flavors of your choice. So we'll grill it. And I just do it till I can see those grill marks. It's kind of like, guys, when we do that little turn with our steaks, just to sort of be like, ooh. And that's okay. By the way, anyone who cooks and does those little things to impress people, I remember the first time I made sushi for a date. Like, I remember, like, waiting to cut the avocado. I felt like George Costanza with the tip jar. Like, I don't want to put the tip in the jar till the pizza guy sees me do it. So I was like, I'm going to cut this avocado and I'm going to take the pit out with the knife. You ready? You know, and then you have to do it and you're like, well, that was cool. Oh, what? No. A little something I do. Anyway, so we have this beautiful char. Lay it right in. Uh-oh, we have a bleeder. So we have one, thank you very much, chef. And then all we're going to do is throw on a little bit of shredded lettuce. No cheese. I don't usually do cheese on like the seafood tacos. I still haven't found a ton of dishes where like the fish and cheese work super well. There was one place I filmed. I'll give you a little bit of a Secret Eats with Adam Richman tip. In Chicago, in Ukrainian Village, there is a place called Phil's Last Stand. And it is known, it's like a Chicago hot dog place. They've got sandwiches, but they have an off-menu shrimp po' boy. And they actually put cheese on it. And it's the only place I've ever had seafood and cheese that's really, really worked. Anyway, so just a little bit of lettuce, a little bit of this salsa, a little bit of these grilled tortillas, and you have one dynamite taco. It also